Okay, with that, we move to our next session. It was great to hear the reflections from the luminaries, and it's as Anandan said, this is a topic probably cannot be ended in an hour's conversation. Okay, so now moving to the next session. So often we get to hear that the research in AI, machine learning, data science are multidisciplinary in nature, right? So in this session, which will be chaired by Mitesh and myself, we will hear about some of the large multidisciplinary centers based in premier institutes in India. It will comprise of their own research as well as along with their work that they are doing with their industry and government partners. So in the panel, we have Professor Sunita Sarawagi, Professor Sudeshna Sarkar, Professor Mausam, Professor Milind Gandhe, Professor K. Madhavakrishna, and Professor Arun Rajkumar with us today. So a couple of points. This session will have 6 pre-recorded videos, each of them about 10 minutes long. We will have a live Q&A, which Mitesh will conduct at the end of the session. But given that the time is limited and we are running 7 minutes or 8 minutes behind schedule, we strongly encourage all of you to submit your questions on using the Q&A panel on Zoom so that our panelists can answer them as the session is proceeding. Okay. So with that, I start the... Raj, can you please enable the screen sharing for me? So with that, we'll have our first session with the Robert Boss Center for Data Science and Artificial Intelligence from IIT Madras. Mitesh, just do a thumbs up if you can hear the sound.
Hello everyone, I'm Ravindran, a faculty in Computer Science and Engineering at IIT Madras. I also head the Robert Boss Center for Data Science and AI at IITM, one of the largest interdisciplinary AI centers in India. So the center started operations back in 2014 as an interdisciplinary lab for data science, wherein faculty from 6 different departments got together to start this group. And we started off small scale with 3 projects. And today, so we are the Robert Boss Center for Data Science and AI. We started operating in this avatar in 2017. And now we have 28 faculty members, more than double our size, across 10 departments in the institute. And so we have more than 120 plus publications in the past few years, and as well as run 23 different interdisciplinary projects. So various areas that the fundamental research areas that the center looks at, right? So we are having a significant focus on looking at data science and AI applications in various engineering disciplines. And network data is something that arises often both in engineering disciplines and across other areas such as biology, transportation, social media, telecom, and reaction networks. So the idea here is that you're not looking at entities in isolation, but looking at interactions between entities as well. And so we have, our center has one of the largest groups in the country that looks at network data across different disciplines and also take advantage of the synergies that arise. We also have a very large group that looks at deep reinforcement learning. And so we have certainly published extensively in the last few years, and we are the largest group in India in deep reinforcement learning. And we also do a significant amount of work in explainable AI. So we have people who work on explainable visual classification and looking at explainable power of attention in language processing and looking at the dynamics of learning in deep networks. Also learning on interpretable small models and interpretability in healthcare and other specific applications in manufacturing domain and so on. So the other areas that we work on are looking at social impact of AI, causality, both from a process modeling point of view as well as more classical AI notions of causality, and robust learning, learning with guarantees and learning with limited and partial data, which often arise in engineering disciplines, and also human in the loop learning, where the human is either an expert or could be just an operator who's trying to interact with the AI system. So as you can see that many of the themes of fundamental research arise from looking at specific application verticals. So we have groups that work on manufacturing analytics, financial analytics in collaboration with the DART Center, and also systems biology and healthcare. That's a good fraction of the work that happens at the center is on systems biology and healthcare, and that's in collaboration with IBSC and other centers here. And we also do a lot of work in smart cities. We started with looking at traffic. Traffic engineering, and now we look at general smart mobility, water distribution, power grids, and also construction, pollution, various aspects to do with smart cities. And so we're just not do these kind of fundamental research work. At this point, we're starting to make an impact at the global level as well. So some of our recent work, for example, graph tracing, which is query contextualization for automated coding in medical domain, won the best application paper award at TAKD 2021 recently. And before that, we had a paper on explaining deep convolutional nets for image classification that won award at BACB 2020, one of the top vision conferences, as the best paper award. And also at COTS-COMAD, a conference organized by IKDD. So we had a paper that won the best paper award for work on gas and balance learning. And then this continues. So in AMAS 2020 last year, we had a top 4 recognition for a paper that used reinforcement learning for discovering structure of social networks, unknown social networks. And then we had a best applied paper runner-up in COTS-COMAD on our work with for-hire vehicles. And more recently, one of my colleagues worked with collaborators in Stanford was accepted at Nature Communications on looking at applying network science and control theory to understand dynamic brain circuits. So apart from these kind of research impact, the work at the center is also has significant societal impact. So we collaborate with multiple governmental bodies as well as NGOs in looking at several socially relevant projects. For example, we helped the Tamil Nadu government set up the CM helpline, and also we work with closely on the COVID war room currently. Right? And we can learn more about our socially relevant work at our blog. Right. So continuing with our focus on social relevance, we also launched a fellowship on AI for social good for early career researchers. It's funded by the Narayanan Family Foundation. And so it's a very attractive benefits. So please look up the advertisements online. Right. So we have also contributed significantly in terms of number of tools and data sets that we have released. Samanantar is a the largest Indian language corpus that has a parallel corpus that has been released. So far, it's done primarily by the AI for Bharat organization, but supported by the Robert Watt Center. And we also have other data sets such as the Indian traffic data set of HETRA, a small data set, but carefully labeled, and also multiple data sets across the different biological problems that we have studied. And VCDSI, apart from getting involved in fundamental research, we also launched several first of its kind programs. Right? So the first one, at least in academia, this is the first such program, the Post-Baccalaureate Fellowship, wherein we give a 2-year research fellowship for exceptional graduates and postgraduates. And this is modeled after some of the programs that the top-notch research labs in the country have. And we have had significant success. We have had about 14 post-baccalaureate fellows so far, and many of them have produced excellent work, excellent research that resulted in top-notch publications. And some of them have turned around and joined us, and some have gone on to do PhDs abroad. And we also have this interdisciplinary dual degree program in data science. We are the first IIT to launch a degree program in data science, and the graduates get both the BTech in engineering discipline as well as an MTech in data science. And the focus is on training them in applying the data science ideas to their parent discipline. And we also have this 11-month certificate program in collaboration with IIM Bangalore, which straddles both technology and management. And we have launched the industrial consortium model, wherein we get partners, industry partners who work closely with VCDSI and partner with in various events that we run at the center, right? So that they can get more exposure to the kind of research that happens here, and also this leads to better dialogue. And we have had excellent feedback and enthusiasm from the consortium partners so far. We also have launched an associate researcher program, wherein we allow people or we invite people from the industry labs as well as from other institutes like some of the newer IITs to associate themselves with the center, and so they get to co-advise students, they get to co-write project proposals, as well as take part in some of our workshops and other programs that we run. Right? And this is a fellowship spread over 2 years, and we have had multiple very interesting outputs come out of this already. So here are some numbers. So like I mentioned in the beginning, so we have about 28 faculty spread across 10 departments or part of the center. And we have about 80 plus researchers, 6 of them who are postdocs, and about 10 post-baccalaureate fellows are there currently. and about 50 plus research scholars, both at PhD and master's level. And as I mentioned earlier, we have 120 plus papers that have come out, of which more than 50 have high impact conferences like A-star rank conferences and very high impact factor journals. And we have collaborations across the board. This is like just the mind-boggling number of collaborations that we have both in the industry and NGOs. And we can also see our international collaboration footprint is fairly large going now. And hopefully we are looking to expand this much further as we go down the years. Right. So one of the new research initiatives that we have launched this year is looking at what we call as deployable AI. So doing AI research in the laboratory is fine, but when you actually try to deploy it in the field, a lot of things that could go wrong. So we are looking at multiple facets of this, looking at fairness and social relevance of AI, explainability, transfer learning, right, and also privacy and safety in AI, and also AI on the edge. Right? So this is when, or like federated learning. So where you want to make sure that your distributed AI systems work great, well in synchrony. Right? So there are multiple projects that we already launched in this theme, right? So we are looking at AI and ethics in the Indian context, especially looking at notions of fairness in Indian context, and also looking at how deployment of AI could further marginalize populations which are already suffering due to the digital divide in India. Right? And then we're looking at various interpretable models and algorithms for human-in-the-loop learning. And so this is essentially where the human should understand what the AI is doing before they can react to it. And then we have fairly a couple of projects that are running on interpretable deep learning, especially in the context of healthcare, and also looking at incorporating domain knowledge in an interpretable or explainable manner into machine learning models, so that domain experts are having a slightly increased comfort level when they're looking at the prescriptions of the machine learning approaches. Right? So there are multiple ways in which you could work with us. Right? So we have the postbaccalaureate fellowship, as I mentioned earlier. We also do multiple internship program, including a global summer internship program, and the fellowship, that's a postdoctoral fellowship, as well as the RN family fellowship. And we also have a new certificate program that we launched with Talent Sprint. So please look that up. And obviously, this is on social media and it's on the web. And please look up our YouTube channel, Twitter channel, and everything for more information about us. So do write to us if you're interested in joining us or interested in knowing more about the center. You're always welcome back. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Ravindran. So now we will hear about the School of AI from Iit Delhi. Sorry, just give me 1 minute.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mausam. I'm the head of the newly formed School of Artificial Intelligence at Iit Delhi. It is my pleasure to introduce the school to you and to share with you some of the ideas and thoughts we have on how to build the school forward. Just to give you the context, I think you will all recognize that India has had a good presence in the field of AI. It is ranked number 5th when we look at the number of AI companies as well as the number of AI jobs. But it slips down several notches when we start looking at number of AI researchers or the overall quality and quantity of AI research. In fact, it slips to number 17th when we look at the Global AI Readiness Index. Similarly, India has 97,000 jobs that are vacant in the country. Of course, the world also has 400,000 or more vacant. India has less than 2% of the world's AI PhDs. Clearly, there's an urgent need for capacity building, both in industry and research. And for that, need for capacity building in academia. Now let us look at IIT Delhi. IIT Delhi is considered to be one of the premier institutions of the country. It is considered first among various engineering colleges by US News. It is generally in the top 2 or 3 of various rankings that come out in the country regarding engineering or computational fields. In fact, in AI, IIT Delhi was ranked first in the last decade by CS rankings. It has 12 core faculty members working in various aspects of AI, machine learning, and data science, and 40 plus applied researchers who think about using AI in the context of various domains. There is extensive industry partnership. For example, we are part of the IBM AI Horizons Network, one of the only two countries. We are engaging with government in various committees in thinking about AI policies and evaluating government projects. There is a lot of media connect. We are regularly found on the television and the newspapers. We have strong partnerships with very many other institutions which are leaders in their own right, like AIMS for healthcare, ICAR for agriculture. There is a lot of potential for the use of AI in various settings through IIT Delhi. However, there was one weakness. The weakness was that the AI community, even though we had a lot of faculty members, they were kind of working in silos in their own departments. They were not coming together on a single platform. Anyway, to summarize, IIT Delhi has the will and the capacity to fill this gap that the country has in AI and to take India forward in the field of AI. And in that context, the IIT Delhi administration launched the School of Artificial Intelligence, or as we call SKY. This happened late last year, and the goal was to strengthen education and research in the fields of AI, machine learning, and data science, and to focus also on its commercial and societal applications. The school was launched with a fair amount of media coverage. And IIT Delhi administration has been working very heavily to support us and walk the talk. So a new building that is coming up in IIT Delhi, School of AI will have a significant space in that building. It's not going to be a virtual center. We will actually physically be coming together. Let me share a few thoughts on what is the vision of SKY. Of course, sky is the limit, right? SKY is planning to provide a single platform for all stakeholders. If you're a student, you can join us. If you're a faculty member, you must join us. Industry to collaborate with us, nonprofits to work with us, policymakers to engage with us towards the common goal of making India an AI powerhouse in the world. How are we going to do this? We will do this by making sure that there is a ready supply of AI talent in the country that will energize the Indian IT industry so that it can be at AI forefront, and also potentially many startups, and maybe we'll have many AI unicorns coming out of India. We will engage with the government and nonprofits to think about AI-ready policies, think about innovation through thought leadership in AI research, as well as application innovation to improve the quality of life of the country as well as globally. A 360-degree impact is expected for the School of AI. One of the biggest ways in which we hope to achieve it is to build a dynamic research environment, a collaborative environment, an environment where faculty members really love being a part of the system and really can be productive. How are we going to do that? This is going to be a tough problem, but that is where a lot of our focus is. We have thought of several innovations so that we can attract top AI talent. In fact, attract them so that they leave their high-paying jobs in the US or elsewhere in the world and come back to India and join Indian academia. If we can achieve it, that will be the real success. Obviously, to achieve this, we need to make sure that they remain productive. They really enjoy being at IIT Delhi and at SKY. We are working on creating a large supercomputer infrastructure. We're thinking of how to have stronger and stronger industry collaborations. How can we incentivize high quality research? How can we support high quality research? Make sure that we are supporting the talent, and we have a strong staff to support this talent. Now, we expect to pursue research in all fronts of AI, be it depth or be it breadth. In the depth wise, if you look at it, there is the core of mathematics and logic, which then gets used in the context of the learning technologies, which we call core. So there will be machine learning, deep learning, reinforcement learning. When they get applied to specific types of data, then the interesting bridge areas get created like computer vision, natural language processing, and then they get used in the context of various applications which span across disciplines like healthcare, material science, industry 4.0, robotics. We have a recent focus on judiciary. So we are expecting to do research along all these various verticals, application verticals, and also the depth of AI. Just to give you a springing, these are the 5 focus areas that we have thought about in application side of things. for Sky in the coming short term. So there will be healthcare, materials, physically grounded AI, AI for Industry 4.0, multilingual information systems. In all these multidisciplinary pursuits, AI researchers and disciplinary researchers will engage, create collaborative teams so that the real impact can be had in these areas. Of course, we are an educational institution, and so a lot of our work is going to be on the educational activities. We have already started a multidisciplinary PhD program. We are almost ready to start the master's program in Minds, Machine Intelligence and Data Science. We have put together a proposal for allowing the Iit Delhi students to spend a 5th year, irrespective of their discipline, and get a MTech degree in Minds, just by spending 1 year. And then we are also thinking about executive programs for people in industry and government. In fact, we have already started some executive courses, but we are thinking of starting many more and putting them together into a bigger executive program. The one key factor that we are always making sure that we follow is that students from all engineering, all science disciplines, and even other disciplines are welcome, as long as they show the proficiency that is needed to succeed in AI research, which is proficiency in math and programming. Now, attracting faculty members. That's obviously the biggest challenge, because any academic institution, be it in India or elsewhere, has to compete with industry level salaries, and salaries in AI are just humongous. The first thing I would say is that we have brought all the various faculty members who were already engaged in AI related research in various departments together. So if you look at the faculty members that we have right now, we have almost 40 faculty members who span from computational techniques to more applied mechanics techniques, mechanical engineering. They come from various disciplines, civil engineering. They apply AI to various kinds of robotics, various kinds of soft robotics technologies, biology, healthcare technologies, AI for hardware, and so on and so forth. We are at the same time, while adding all these faculty members into our group, we are also looking to hire new faculty members. And there we are looking for proficiency in either AI, ML, DS technologies with an interest in applications, or you could be a non-AI person with a strong interest in and strong understanding of the use of AI for the domain impact. And both these kinds of faculty members are welcome. We are thinking about getting you back from the world, wherever you are. And for that, we have a lot of innovative ideas, and please reach out to me if you're interested in more. But in addition to the standard, which is like chair positions and strong compute resources and travel grants and seed funding, we are thinking about creating a strong industry connect for you at the time of appointment, so that you benefit from the industry partner as well as the academic institution where you would be working. Moreover, if you're a PhD enthusiast or a master's enthusiast, you should join us too. You could have a degree in any science discipline as long as you show proficiency in math and programming. You are welcome. We are thinking about additional incentives for you as well, like honoraria and travel grants. Industry partners are going to be a very strong partner for us. We are hoping that various industries will come forward and start many collaborations with us. We can build focused centers of excellence in various sub-aspects of AI, and we can stay connected through an affiliates program that we are putting together. And so we will engage with various partners, industry partners in various capacities. Last but not the least, I invite our alumni of Iit Delhi in general, as well as well-wishers of Sky, to come forward and support us in our early progress. We have put together the League of Founding Donors. If you give today, you will be considered a founding donor forever. And so you would be able to help shape School of AI in its early days and see the seed of AI, blossoming into a beautiful tree in times to come. So I will stop here. You can see that we are thinking about the AI space and what an academic institution can contribute from various and holistic angle. We hope that Iit Delhi's contributions and Sky's contributions will really take India forward in the field of AI. It is going to be an exciting time ahead for all of us. Please join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mausam. So next up, we have the Center for Machine Intelligence and Data Science, C-Minds, from IIT Bombay.
It is with great pleasure that I share that IIT Bombay has recently set up the Center for Machine Intelligence and Data Sciences. In short, CMINDS. AI and data science have already made a major impact in real world, but we believe this is just the beginning. There is a tremendous potential for impact across all scientific and engineering disciplines, possibly across the society in general. The use of data can create a positive impact in industry or in startups, healthcare, government or social sector, education, and of course, and fundamental research. India can take a lead in the ongoing AI revolution by inspiring, training, and enabling its youth to take up leadership roles in these areas. Dear friends, IIT Bombay is uniquely positioned to become an enabler for the national goal in creating leadership in artificial intelligence and data science. Our faculty working in these areas have achieved international recognition. They regularly publish in high quality venues, and their publications are very well cited and quite impactful. Our faculty also have a significant industrial exposure, allowing them to better understand industrial applications and identify areas of potential practical impact. I invite you all to explore how CMINDS can help you. Thank you.
The Center of Machine Intelligence and Data Science, CMINDS, at IIT Bombay was set up in February 2020 to contribute towards the growing role of artificial intelligence and data science in several aspects of our life. Our vision is to provide leadership in machine intelligence and data science through teaching, research, and academic outreach. We plan to achieve that vision by building and sustaining one of the best academic programs in data science in the country, working on applications of AI and ML to societal issues by leveraging IIT Bombay's strong multidisciplinary research culture, developing industry collaborations to solve cutting-edge problems, and enhancing skills of industrial workforce through data science outreach programs. The center will be IIT Bombay's nodal point of collaboration with industry and government on AI/ML related problems. Currently, 70 faculty across 18 different departments are associated with the center, providing fertile grounds for interdisciplinary research. With the guidance of an expert advisory board and support of an internal steering committee, I am confident that this center will grow by leaps and bounds through its thoroughly designed academic programs, impactful research activities, and strong industry collaborations.
The academic program will prepare IIT Bombay students to be AI and data science leaders. Our goal is to enable a much larger set of students to acquire skills in this area, regardless of their area of specialization. The center currently offers 2 academic programs: minor in AI and data science, interdisciplinary dual degree program in AI and data science. The IEEE will provide students the opportunity of pursuing a dual degree via an additional year of PG level courses and a year-long project in the area of AI and data science. A PhD and master's program is being planned for the near future, followed by a bachelor program. We also plan to extend our program to industry professional in the near future.
Research in CMINDS from the need to solve various societal, governmental, and industrial problems. The research in C-Minds important themes. The first theme is AI/ML in healthcare and life sciences. Here, the focus is on early diagnosis of disease, precision diagnosis, and medical imaging with 3D reconstruction and analysis of images. The second area is data analytics for financial organizations. Financial analytics, which involves stock market prediction, trend analysis, and so on, are very AI and machine learning intensive. The third area is AI and ML in education. Here, extensive EdTech, which is empowered with AI and ML, is being used. So there are empowering research which involves learning in one's own mother tongue, access to virtual labs, and so on. This will be very empowering for Indian students across rural and urban areas. The fourth area is Indian language and speech technology. Iit Bombay has a long tradition of natural language processing research with focus on Indian language technology. Here, the focus is on multilingual representation for Indian languages, accented speech recognition for Indian languages, and text and speech translation in Indian languages. The fifth area is AI/ML in Industry 4.0. The priority today is to build smart factories and smart manufacturing processes. A very impactful and interesting possibility is machine-to-machine communication, which falls under IoT. The sixth area is AI/ML in transportation, multimodal transportation, which involves road, air, train, and water transportation, will be integrated by making use of AI/ML ideas and techniques. The final area is materials and mechanics, where new material discovery and predicting material properties is in focus. On the mechanics side, physics-driven machine learning models will be created. So all these 7 areas are full of rich possibilities. I am happy to share this with you. Thank you very much.
Many of our faculty have extensive industrial experience, and our adjunct faculty work in organizations and labs that are pushing the bleeding edge of AI and data sciences. It is a point of pride that there are nearly 150 projects at Iit Bombay in the areas of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data sciences. And we expect that these partnerships will more than double in the next 10 years. For each thematic area that we mentioned before, we have external collaborators and technology transfer partners. An example of our expanding breadth is the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between Iit Bombay and NEC Japan. Under this MOU, we will be conducting high-impact R&D activities in the areas of urban sciences and for social well-being.
The center will house multiple domain-specific labs with industrial partners looking for disruptive solutions. These labs will engage in research in their respective areas and develop cutting-edge applications and solutions that have the potential to solve the problems of industry and society. Iit Bombay provides a strong ecosystem to evolve breakthrough startups. The Entrepreneurship Cell, the Sign Incubator, the IDC School of Design, and the Industrial Research and Consultancy Center are pillars of entrepreneurship in the Iit Bombay ecosystem. As C-Minds grows, it will provide many opportunities for various stakeholders to collaborate with each other. We seek new faculty members to join us, either full-time or adjunct, to help us achieve our goals. Iit Bombay offers excellent opportunities for industry consultation and projects, joint appointments with the industry, and international collaborations with world-class institutions. Those interested, please reach out to us. We also invite industry partners to explore opportunities in research collaborations with us. Also, if you're an industry professional who wants to advance your career and pursue a full-time master's or PhD degree and become an AI and ML professional, you might want to consider joining us. While you learn here, you will enjoy the beautiful campus and create memories to cherish down the lane. Overall, we believe that C-Minds will be a vibrant platform in the years to come. It will attract the brightest students, faculty, and researchers from all over the world who will contribute to the common cause of education, research, and application of artificial intelligence and data science for the benefit of society and the nation.
Great. Thank you, Professor Subhashish Chaudhary, Professor Sunita Sarawagi, Professor Biplab Banerjee, Professor Pushpak Bhattacharya, Professor D. Manjunath, and Professor S. Sudarshan. So next up, we have Center of Excellence in AI from IIT Kharagpur.
The Center of Excellence in Artificial Intelligence at Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur was set up in 2018 to make impactful contributions to science, society, and industry. The tagline for the center is AI for all, excellence in transformational and translational artificial intelligence. Our vision is to promote excellence in AI research and education, and to cater to a diversity of students, disciplines, and sectors. I am Shudeshna Shodkar, currently the chairperson of the Center of Excellence in AI at IIT Kharagpur. IIT Kharagpur has a very broad canvas of artificial intelligence research and applications. There are the disciplines of electrical engineering and computer science, mathematics, as well as different disciplines where AI is being applied, different engineering disciplines, science departments, cyber physical systems, humanities and social sciences, medical science and technology, law and management. So all of us together work on different dimensions of AI, which can be categorized into the core dimensions comprising of the mathematical and algorithmic foundations, such as reasoning, learning, search, and knowledge management. Then the thematic areas of natural language, speech, image, and signals, application domains such as health sciences, agriculture, earth sciences, manufacturing, and economics, as well as emerging AI-based interdisciplinary domains of cognitive science, ethics, security, and robotics. The center works closely with the Technology Innovation Hub, which has been recently set up at IIT Kharagpur on artificial intelligence and machine learning for interdisciplinary cyber-physical system. This Innovation Hub was set up under the aegis of the National Mission of Interdisciplinary Cyber-Physical System, which focuses on the core AI methodologies applied to different CPS application areas, such as healthcare, transportation, agriculture, environment, manufacturing, energy, education, communication, and judiciary. The Center for Excellence in AI has 2 full-time faculty and 10 other joint faculty. We have about 40 PhD students and some MS students and research staff. We currently have funded projects from Amazon Web Services, the Chatterjee Group, and ONGC. The focus of the center are 6-fold: research, education, outreach, translation, collaboration, and entrepreneurship. Our research focus are on the theoretical areas of mathematical and statistical foundations, theoretical artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, reinforcement learning, security and privacy, fate of AI, causality and interpretability, big data engineering, and knowledge management. In the thematic domains, we focus on natural language processing, speech and signal processing, computer vision, cognition, and multi-agent systems. We work on different applications such as manufacturing, healthcare, smart mobility, education, agriculture, energy, earth sciences, and law. We have recently started 2 academic programs. One is an interdisciplinary dual degree program on artificial intelligence, machine learning, and applications, where students belonging to a 4-year engineering and science discipline can do an MTech in AI machine learning based on coursework, project, and research in their 4th and 5th year. We also run a micro-specialization in artificial intelligence and applications, open to students of all disciplines. We have introduced some very niche and useful courses, foundational courses on machine learning foundations and applications, artificial intelligence foundations and applications, deep learning foundations and applications, linear algebra for AI and ML, and statistical foundations of AI and ML. Then we have courses on big data processing, knowledge modeling and semantic web technologies, dependable and secure AI ML, and different interdisciplinary courses such as artificial intelligence for economics, artificial intelligence for manufacturing, artificial intelligence for cyber-physical systems. These courses are being offered jointly along with the Department of Humanities, the Center of Excellence in Advanced Manufacturing Technologies, and ATDC respectively. In outreach, we work on digital dissemination of AI skilling, reskilling, and upskilling. This is a focus area on which we have started a very niche project called AI Shiksha. And we also do outreach through workshops and seminars, both inside the institute and external seminars. The AI Shiksha is an AI resource portal being funded by Amazon Web Services, where we have worked on a portal where one can access resources of importance in artificial intelligence and offering facilities of search and browse, a learning and skill development module for course delivery, which contains course content, and a collaboration and participation platform. This is also being developed with help from National Digital Library of India. Then we work on translation, technology, innovation, and development for society, for industry, and for governance in different domains. We plan to promote entrepreneurship by nurturing entrepreneurs and work on AI product development and innovation management. We look for collaborations such as joint activities, research centers, research projects, academic programs, expertise sharing by visiting faculty and all, student and faculty support through visitation programs and internships. So we invite you to collaborate with our center because we believe that together we can do great things. Thank you very much. You can reach our center at ai.iitkgp.ac.in or write to me at sudeshna@cai.iitkgp.ac.in. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Professor Sudeshna Sarkar. So next we have Machine Intelligence and Robotics Center, MINRO, from Iit Bangalore.
Hello, I'm delighted to spend a few minutes with you introducing Iit Bangalore and also introducing the Machine Intelligence and Robotics Center at Iit Bangalore. Iit Bangalore is a new age higher education institution which was established in 1999. Iit Bangalore focuses only on postgraduate institution and in information technology. So when I say information technology, so it covers all areas of information technology. Initially, we started offering broad-based MTech programs in information technology, but subsequently we have now started offering specific programs in computer science and engineering and electronics and communication engineering. So Master of Technology is our flagship program. We also started a 5-year dual degree integrated Master of Technology program, which was mainly intended for post-12th students, right? So that is a 5-year dual degree program. again in computer science and electronics and communication engineering. We also have a very strong group which focuses on social science. And these scientists look at the intersection of social science and information technology and its impact on the society. So we have also introduced a very new program, which is an MSc program in digital society, which is a 2-year program. And since IIITB is a degree granting deemed university, so we also have 2 research programs, which is, of course, we have the PhD program, and we also have a Master of Science by Research. Now, the research at IIITB is carried out in about 7 research domains. So the research domains are computer science and the theory and systems. We have research happening in the data science domain, and we have networking and communication, signal processing and pattern recognition, so VLSI and electronics, and also mathematics and basic sciences as well. So all of our research, now everything culminates in our research centers. At IIITB, we carry out research on funded projects. We have funding from the Government of India, Government of Karnataka, and even industry-sponsored research projects. So I want to spend a few minutes talking about Machine Intelligence and Robotics Center later on. But before that, I just want to give you a quick overview of our faculty profile, the kind of research that happens, what kind of structures we have at IIIT Bangalore. So faculty members at IIITB are all PhDs from reputed institutions from both India and abroad. So they have done PhDs in pretty much all areas of technology, covering computer science, electronics, and even social science, as I mentioned earlier. And in terms of the research support ecosystem, the majority of the research work, of course, is done by the research scholars who themselves are research students. We also have hired research associates who will support the funded research projects. So all in all, I think it's a very exciting place wherein we have what we like to believe as a research-led education, which means that whatever courses, whatever teaching that happens is inspired by the research that is happening. And of course, the same education, the courses that we teach feeds back into the research work that happens at IIITB. So we have multiple research centers at IIIT Bangalore. Of course, Machine Intelligence and Robotics Center is a center that is sponsored and supported by the Government of Karnataka. So we have other centers like the eHealth Research Center, wherein we work very closely with the leading medical institution called NIMHANS. Right? And then we also have the Center for Data Sciences. I'm also happy to share that IIITB recently got a 150 crore project, which is as part of the NMICPS project on advanced communication systems. So that, in a nutshell, is the various activities that are happening at IIITB. Let me spend a few minutes talking about the work that is happening at IIITB broadly in the areas of AI, ML, cognitive computing, and so on. So broadly, I want to highlight 2 centers that are there at IIIT Bangalore. One is the Machine Intelligence and Robotics Center, which we call as the MINRO Center. So this is a center that was funded by Government of Karnataka, primarily to promote research in the space of AI, ML, and other related areas. So as part of this particular, so there are broadly 3 elements to the charter of this particular center. Of course, the research is the primary focus of this particular center. So research is carried out on all aspects of machine intelligence. So very exciting work is happening on multimodal speech and text processing. We have lots of work that's happening on video analytics, natural language processing, and all other related areas. And on the robotics side, now we are working on exoskeleton projects. We are working on smart harness for exoskeletons and including the industrial robotics as well. So in addition to this work on Machine Intelligence and Robotics Center, which is supported by the government of Karnataka, we also have industry-sponsored centers. For example, we have the Cognitive Center, Center for Cognitive Computing, which is being supported by Emphasis as part of their CSR activities. So there also we have a lot of interesting work that is happening on use of AI ML for education and as part of enhancing the education technology. And that also involves use of cognitive models for mapping learning abilities of students as well as the instructors as well. And in addition to that, we also have a very interesting project on how do you interpret the sign language. So is it possible to synthesize written text and create a synthesized sign language? So we are working with the Indian Sign Language, how to automatically generate Indian Sign Language from written text. So these are just some glimpses of the research that is happening in this particular space. As I mentioned, so the second key focus for the Minro Center is innovation, right? So the way we distinguish research from innovation is that innovation is what enables the research see the light of the day by applying it to some real problem. So this is where we work very closely with startups and try to help them take the research into real implementations. The third important aspect of the Minro Center is essentially providing the experience or dissemination of the research. Because we believe that, yes, doing closed blue sky research is important, but at the same time, we purely from the government perspective, so the government is interested in making the citizens of the state familiarize them with all the potential of new technologies. So as part of that, dissemination is also one of the charters for this particular center. So as part of the dissemination activities, we conduct conferences, workshops, even webinars on very specific topics with eminent speakers by inviting eminent speakers. We also try to collaborate with industry and other educational institutions as well. In fact, there are lots of exciting programs that are lined up. For example, how do you we have even physically established what we call as the Experience Center in the IIITB campus. So once the pandemic eases, we are really excited to actually invite people to take a look at some of the innovations that are happening in this particular space. And we also intend conducting targeted webinars and workshops. For example, how can government civil servants get the most out of analytics and AI, right? So that is one such program that we are planning. How do you excite school children? How do you excite college students? Because now it is turning out that everybody is expected to have an understanding of this particular area. So how do you disseminate information and make them more AI literate and ML literate? So that is also another charter. So all in all, I'm very excited that IIITB seems to be the happening place for all aspects in the latest fields of technology, covering the entire spectrum of activities. And more so, I try to showcase some of the key elements of the machine intelligence and the AI activities that are happening at IIITB. Please feel free to go through the demos that we will make available, online demos. And also, we'll be happy to host any sessions as and when needed. Thank you.
Thank you for the overview of Minro. Before moving into the final session, just wanted to request if there are questions for the guests, please do put them on the Q&A panel so that they can answer as the session is proceeding. So in the final video, we have an overview of Kohli Center of Intelligent Systems from IIIT Hyderabad.
This is a presentation on the Kohli Center on Intelligent Systems by K. Madhava Krishna. Established in 2015 from grants made available by TCS Foundation, the center is named after the father of India's IT revolution and the founder of TCS, Dr. Fakir Chand Kohli. The center houses 7 prominent research centers with an objective of taking the research from lab to land. The 7 research centers include the Center for Visual Information and Technology, or CVIT, the Machine Learning Lab, the Data Sciences and Analytics Center, Social and Human Applications for AI, the Cognitive Science Lab, the Robotics Research Center, and the Language Technologies Research Center. The centers have multiple faculty advising PhD, MS, the dual degree, and the honor students. The research profile of the faculty can be seen here for the Cognitive Science and Robotics Research Center. The Machine Learning and Data Sciences, the Language Technologies Research Center, and the Center for Social and Human Applications for AI. The Center for Visual Information Technology, and an inside view of the faculty and the centers can be seen in this slide. The KCIS activities don 2 main contours, one that involves core faculty who conduct foundational and applied research, the other that involves outreach activities that include executive education leading to enhanced visibility. The keynote of our research is that we are ranked high within the country and internationally in many AI-related areas. 83rd in the world in computer vision and first in India, 37th in the world in robotics, 5th in Asia and first in India, 4th in India in core AI. These are based on csrankings.org as late as July 2021. The rankings are a direct consequence of sustained publications at premier forums over the last several years. These include AAAI, UCAI, AMAS, CVPR, ICCV, ECCV, IROS, ICRA, and several such top-notch forums. The KCIS research centers are amply funded by the government and the private industry. A sample of those are mentioned in the slide below. Our outreach includes flagship executive education program that consists of a 14-week-long AI/ML intensive course, a mega hit amongst both research aspirants and the industry professionals. This has come to define IIIT in more than one way amongst the industry and public in general. The number of new centers involved in applied AI research that are supported by public and private sector have mushroomed in the last couple of years. These include the Aia Center of Excellence in partnership with Bharat Dynamic Limited and the Center for Excellence on Sports Technology by Star Sports. Professor Raj Reddy's Center on Technology in Service of Society to celebrate and amplify the passion of Professor Raj Reddy in education and research. Also, a number of deep tech startups have been incubated in the last several years in AI and allied areas. We now come to the awards and recognitions section. A number of KCIS faculty were recipient of prestigious awards, fellowships, Best Paper Awards and were highly recognized for their contributions. We present a very small sample from a huge list. Vasudev Verma was a Google AI/ML Research Awardee for the year 2020-21. Devapriya Kumar was awarded the CRSI Bronze Medal, which is a prestigious medal from the Chemical Research Society of India. Madhav Krishna and Vineet Gandhi's team were the super winner amongst the other winners of the Qualcomm Innovation Fellowship 2020-21, whereas Ravi Kiran Sarvabotla's team won the Qualcomm Innovation Fellowship for the year 2021. Krishna Reddy has been awarded the PAKDD Distinguished Service Award. A number of KCIS faculty's research have caught the national attention. Devapriya Kumar's work on COVID-19 risk stratification and mortality prediction was appreciated by the Ministry of Education in their official tweet. Kavita Bemuri and her students demonstrate an immersive and transformative experience with a game on child trafficking, which also was shortlisted for the Best Paper Award at the IEEE Conference on Games. Similarly, the virtual labs hosted by IIIT Hyderabad crossed 20 million page views. Virtual Labs is a project initiated by the Ministry of Education under the National Mission on Education through ICT. A number of KCIS students and faculty were recipients of Best Paper Awards. Most notably, the AMA's Best Poster Design Award of Anurag Jain, advised by Dr. Sujit Gujjar. The paper is about unfairness or fairness in blockchain ecosystems. Academic research collaboration with external institutions and university. The KCIS faculty collaborate nationally and internationally in numerous areas with universities and research labs, some of them listed here. The KCIS has started the prestigious Kohli Research Fellowship Program from the year 2020 onwards. 3 applicants were awarded the prestigious Kohli Research Fellowship for the year 2020-21. We now move on to key research highlights. We sample a few amongst the many such high-profile and impactful research that happens within the ambit of KCIS. The India Driving Dataset, IDD. IDD is an outcome of IIIT Hyderabad and Intel academic research collaboration. With the motto, data makes AI possible, it enables AI research in unstructured driving conditions and innovations for safe mobility. It's also the world's first public data set of unstructured driving conditions from India. IDD journey represented chronologically. Numerous citations in short time, adapted in many countries, and a growing number of users. This results in the establishment of INAI, an AI applied research center with Intel.
Wikipedia is a free online encyclopedia, home for collective human knowledge. Unfortunately, its content is very low in Indian languages. The Information Retrieval and Extraction Lab at KCIS has taken up an ambitious goal of enhancing Wikipedia in Indian languages by 10 times in the next 2 to 3 years. We are working with the central and state governments, Wikimedia Foundation, and other partners, and have taken a 4-pronged approach of developing the community, resources, technology, and finally the content. We have trained more than 2,000 volunteers through workshops, internships, and hackathons. We are collecting knowledge from structured, semi-structured, and unstructured sources using web crawling, information extraction, and knowledge discovery technologies. We use advanced NLP and text generation algorithms to generate Wikipedia articles in specific domains which are verified and corrected by human volunteers.
Here's an example of how AI continues to push the boundaries of possibilities. Making use of novel deep neural network architectures developed by CVIT faculty Vineet Gandhi will solve an otherwise difficult problem of navigating to a region indicated by language commands. Given a natural language command such as get into the left lane behind the car, we ground the region referred to by the command, unlike all previous approaches that ground the object. This results in a seamless integration with a navigation algorithm that navigates to the referred region. This work received Qualcomm's Super Winner Fellowship of the year 2021 amongst all the winning fellows from the year 2020.
One other area of interest is application of machine learning methods for healthcare and drug discovery. I'll take a recent example. We started collecting data from 2 different hospitals on COVID-19 positive patients. When I say data, these are clinical data in terms of like blood work, comorbidities, medications, etc., and then the radiology images, and then the viral genome sequence from the samples collected from these patients. So using these, we created risk stratification and mortality prediction models. And then by doing a multimodal analysis, by combining all this, we are trying to develop ways to understand disease progression. And finally, we used the viral genome and then identified certain mutations that are associated with disease severity. And then went back and then tried to understand this particular phenomena by using the structural modeling, and then we try to understand that particular aspect.
And finally, the future roadmap. KCIS aspires to be a globally recognized center in AI and allied areas with high academic and social impacts. Thank you very much for all your attention.
Thank you, Madhava, for the great overview of the Center of Intelligent Systems. And this brings us to the end of the presentations by all the center heads and representatives. Now I'll ask all the center heads to switch on the video. We'll just have a quick Q&A session. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for patiently answering all the questions that were posted on the forum. There are a couple more that we would like to ask based on questions collected from the audience. So first one is in continuation of a question which was already asked and answered by Mawsum, but I'd just like to bring it up again, right? So this is in relation to the stats presented by Mawsum that less than 2% of the PhDs in AI come from India. So I had some thoughts on that, and I think there was a question asked in that direction, that how one thing that we see is that if you look at the top research labs in India, the representation of Indian PhD students there is quite less, right? And this is perhaps true for a lot of academia in India too, right? So how do we fight this perception battle? And this is kind of a chicken and egg problem, because if many PhD students from India don't get the top-notch jobs in the research centers and research labs in India, then they will think of doing their PhDs from abroad. And if that happens, the percentage of Indian students will remain low, which in turn would mean many of them don't get placed in these top labs, right? So how do we try to solve this problem? And just to give you some context and my perception on that, right? And you could answer based on that. So if you look at a typical PhD student in the US, during their 5 years of PhD, you would see like one internship at Microsoft Research, one at Google Research, one at Twitter, one at Facebook. Whereas the same is hardly ever happens on the resume of an Indian student, right? So how do we change this? And this has a lot of ramifications, right? Because it just does not mean that you have 5 internships. Just imagine the network connections that build up. And when such a person applies for a faculty position or a research lab position downstream, he has at least 5 good people who can write records for them, right? And this puts Indian students at a severe disadvantage, right? So how do we address this complex situation? I would like to hear from all of you about that.
So, Mitesh, if it's all right, let me start. Okay. So first of all, I think it is important to take the stat in its right form. I'm not saying that less than 2% of PhDs in the world come from Indian institutions. The actual statistic says what is the number of AI PhDs who are presently based in India.
Okay.
And that number is less than 2%.
Right.
There is no discussion on what fraction of them came from Indian institutions and what fraction of them came from foreign institutions.
Right.
So first of all, we need to dissociate these two statistics.
Right. Sorry, but in general, we could agree that percentage of Indian students representation in both academia and research labs may be on the lower side, right? So maybe we can start on that.
So, but I don't agree with this, actually, to be really honest. Maybe I am living in a hypothetical world, but I do see a lot of PhDs from the IITs and IISc who are currently faculty members at IIT Delhi itself. And I am sure the same is true for IIT. I mean, Mitesh, you are one of the case in point yourself, right?
Yeah. So, and also Sudeshna. Let's not forget Sudeshna.
Right. I mean, and so in this small group, and I think Shaurya is similar.
Yes, Shaurya is also similar. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think there is some confusion somewhere. In fact, my experience so far has been that we produce very few few PhDs, but they are spoiled for opportunities. For example, my first PhD student who graduated from IIT Delhi 2 years ago is currently at DeepMind Montreal. Now, the question is, you can then say, okay, they are not in India, but then the point is that they are in an equivalently good place, right? And I expect no less from any PhD student who comes from IIT Delhi from our group, whether it's up to them whether they want to live in India or whether they want to live abroad or whether they want to get some exposure there and come back. So you have to realize that somehow we live in a world where it is a good idea that they get an exposure from a different country before they come back to India. Okay. And so when they do a PhD in a US institution or a Europe institution, they get that exposure. Then they come back to India, right? And in other ways, if they get a PhD from India, then they feel like they need that exposure, they go elsewhere and they get that exposure. Whether they come back to India or not, again, becomes a personal question. So I really would encourage the question, and by the way, and I also completely disagree with you, Mitesh, that a typical US PhD student will have 5 internships. I completely disagree with you. I myself had 1. My collaborator Parag had 1.
I also had one. It
so
was,
the point is to do high quality research, not to really go in some company, spend 2-3 months, make money, then come back, then your research stalls. So that we can go at length on this, but I don't think this is the forum for this. I think we should do 1 to 2 high quality internships, maybe focus towards research and publication. And I think we build connections, but I think it's confusing when people say that our PhD students are not at the best places in the country. They are. Look at the people who are in the best places in the country and you will find a large fraction of them are Indian PhDs. The other people who are Indian PhDs will probably be elsewhere. And then there's always a small number or a reasonable fraction of PhDs who decide not to stay in academia. And this is true also in the US, also in Europe, and also in India. And I think we need to really correct for all those before we make the claim that Indian PhDs are not doing well. So Sudhita, you want to
add? So actually, I totally agree. I totally agree with Mausam. I have not graduated too many students, but the 3 that I have graduated, they're all in top places. One of them is Mausam's classmate, who is now in Google. He's a very, Fernando Pereira speaks very highly of him. I think he graduated with strong credentials, and one of them is in IBM, another person is in Microsoft, and we have hired like a star faculty who did a PhD from IIT Kharagpur in IIT Bombay, and he's like beating all of us hollow in terms of the number of papers he's producing, etc. So I think things have changed a lot. That's the I think AI has become very.
Give a little bit of context. I think the question perhaps is possibly relating to the number of PhDs possibly from India, and I'm not sure. In terms of numbers, we may be low, but I think I would agree with what Mausam or Smita is saying in terms of I'm not too sure if the quality, like I mean, we all always have our statistics to say, like even one of my PhD students is leading the robotics research. He directly became an associate professor at TAR2 in University of Estonia, and it's a pretty good it's the Estonia's #1 university, and he's leading the entire research in robotics there. So, I mean, we all have these success stories, but I think the broader context is perhaps in this extremely competitive area. So how do we ensure that we grow, and and what do we do to grow this number from 3, 4 to something much more substantial is possibly one way of looking at the problem, which I feel is at least for me I don't have an answer for it. But I think I would also agree completely with both what Sunita and Mosam said. Like, it's not the number of interns. Of course, it does look good on your resume, but actually, like, if you want to hit a top-notch publication, if you really want to be noticed eventually, it needs sustained effort. So if you want to hit CVPR or even ICRA, you need to be on the job for a year and without distraction, and then to get it, and to do it repetitively for sustained amount of period of time. I think it's not easy, and most of the time, of course, we get it done with undergrad and master students because we don't have a large number of PhD students. But
we'll let Professor Sudarshan Sarkar also to say on this point. Sorry, Madhava, why don't you complete?
Yeah, sure.
Professor Sarkar can speak.
Yeah, actually, I agree with everything that has been said. I think the main problem is that number of research academic institutions in India is relatively low compared to our population. And though things are changing a bit, in the past, good quality Indian students doing PhD in general or doing PhD in Indian institutions tended to be lower. But those who did PhD in India are in no way inferior, and in many ways, the average quality is very much superior to their peers in other parts of the country, and they are spoiled for opportunity. Because of societal perception, financial aspects, not that many good quality students did stay back to do PhD in India. Things are changing. There is more push from different institutions, research organizations, government, etc. But there has to be more synergy between, and already there are a lot of support from some of the industries for supporting high quality PhDs in academic institutions through high valued fellowships. But this sort of things have to be synergized more. We have to have larger number of faculty in the domain, in the emerging domain. And I think we can slowly get there, but it's very difficult to ramp up the human resource very immediately. But this is something that we have to focus on.
Thank you all for your views. Just to clarify, I did not mean the quality of Indian students is inferior. I come from the Indian ecosystem. I would never make such a statement. My point was about, can we do something to make the opportunities in terms of the exposure during the PhD? After the PhD, I understand all people get it to top-notch places, right? But during the PhD, often our students don't have the same kind of a support system as students in the US have, right? In terms of collaborations, in terms of internships and so on. And we can, of course, cherry pick and focus on a few examples, but I'm talking about the general scenario, right? So that's what my emphasis was on. In fact, I believe our students are of the topmost quality. I just want that we do justice to that quality and bring them to the right level in terms of exposure and opportunities. But thank you all for your views on this. Very interesting to hear that. I think in the interest of time, we'll have to wind up. Shaurya, is that okay?
Maybe Milind and Arun, if they want to add very quickly something. Sorry, we got delayed, but if you guys going to quickly make some comments and then.
One quick point, Shaurya. First of all, I have an Indian PhD. I worked in the Indian industry for 26 years before coming back to academics. So I echo everything that people on this panel said. I think the real problem is there is a very strong competition from the industry as far as recruiting, top undergrads. I think really when you're looking at PhD students in India or anywhere in the world for that matter, I think really where you're losing most of your top students is possibly to industry. And there is some very, very exciting research work now happening in industry as well, right? I think that has changed dramatically. And really, when you're looking at top PhDs, perhaps we should be looking at some of these people who are working in the industry as well.
Thank you. Thanks, Milind. Arun, any comments from you?
Sure. I think I also agree with most of what the panelists have been saying. One thing I want to point out is perhaps I am the one who completed PhD the last among the panelists here. And I can already see that the number of opportunities I had when I was doing my PhD than what people are having now has only increased. And I think that would only become better in the coming days with more research and industry collaborations. And I'm sure it will become much better maybe in like 5-10 years from now. Yeah, thanks.
I think perception moves slowly. I think perception is behind. Opportunities have increased manifold.
Absolutely, absolutely. Even internships, now even Indian industry is offering very exciting internships, and many of my PhD students are coming back all alive and rejuvenated after internship in Indian industry. So yeah, it might be speaking something about my advising, but yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you all for the lively discussion. And now